today about the importance of you being you. When I was 12 years old, my family decided to move across the country. For my parents, it was the best decision that they could make, but for a 12-year-old, it was the last thing that I wanted to do. It was my final day of school. Before we were getting ready to move, I had just said my final goodbyes to my friends. I was getting on the school bus, and I will never forget what one of my favorite teachers said to me that day. He looked me in the eye, and I remember he grabbed me by the cheeks and he said, "Mark, I like who you are, and whatever you do, I want you to stay that way." Now, more than 40 years later, I can still remember those powerful words that were said to me by that teacher. Now, he wasn't saying to me, don't stay the way that you are. In other words, don't improve or don't adapt or don't grow. He was saying to me, you be you. Don't be your friends, don't be your parents, don't be your grandparents, your favorite athlete, or your favorite movie star. You can admire them, you can appreciate them, you can learn from them, but you were not created to be them. You were created to be you. And there's nobody better at being you than you. You know, you and I need to avoid playing the comparison game. It's a game that if we play it, we'll lose every single time. Jesus made this clear to his disciples. Following his resurrection, he gave Peter a specific mission for his life, a mission that if Peter followed it, it would include tremendous sacrifice. It would take Peter places that Peter didn't want to go, and he might not choose to do on his own. In other words, Jesus told Peter, he said, I have a plan for you, and I need you to be you. Now, Peter's response to this was very revealing. He points at his friend John, and he says to Jesus, Lord, what about him? I know what you want me to do, but what about him? Now, Jesus' response that day is a response we can't afford to miss. Jesus said, what I do with him is not your business. You follow me. You don't be obsessed with what John does. You do what I'm asking you to do. In other words, I want you to be you, Peter. So here's today's takeaway. Our world, our churches, our schools, our businesses are filled with people saying that the mess that we're in is someone else's fault. We want someone to have courage, to stand up, to take action, to do something. You know, it's so easy to point fingers at others. What about her? What about him? But research and common sense tell us that the best way that we can live our lives to its fullest is to focus on what we do, not on what others do. Those who focus on what they can do are less stressed, they're happier, they're more successful than those who see their lives and themselves as victims. In other words, you can't change what somebody else does, but you can change what you do. You can be you, and that's the best news of all, because God created you to be that way, and there's no one better at being you than you. So let me echo the advice today of my teacher. You be you. God created you to be you, and that's a good thing, because God doesn't make mistakes. Hey, thanks for listening, and be sure to check back every Wednesday for another edition of Live and Lead. And we would love to have you as one of our ministry partners at the E2 Initiative to learn more about our ministry and our commitment to equipping and encouraging underserved pastors. You can go to the e2initiative.org.